In this episode, now that the interior is finally put back together and cleaned up, it's time to address the outside of the car, Project Low Fairmont, as well as consider a tune-up. Alright, so just got done giving this thing a bath. I'll roll the window up here so you guys can hear. It's a nice day out, so I can stay in the heat. Welcome to this episode. My name's Grant Tommy. This is my channel, Straight Six Van, where I like to focus on budget-minded, creative, relatable builds. Well, something I would call offbeat hot rodding, and we are driving in the 1978 Ford Fairmont $4,000 budget car. Yesterday, I was able to wrap up installing the carpet the rest of the way. That would be Saturday. Get the interior put back together, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Kudos to ACC Carpets. They do a great job with their kits. I had no problems putting that together. Now, I did take this out last night after I got it put together to put some gas in it, because as you recall from the original episode of this, the fuel gauge doesn't work. Now, when I bought the car and I stopped off to get fuel, then the gas nozzle would continue to automatically shut itself off. And so I was like, great, there's probably another issue here. So I don't know if that means I've got like a clogged filler neck, or if that means maybe this gas tank's actually full of gas, because the person I bought it from wasn't sure how much was in it. So maybe it's actually just full of fuel. I don't know. Regardless, I fit 2 gallons in last night somehow, some way. If it was full, I don't know. But I'll be honest, the kill mat that I put in, I mean, I didn't drive this thing around a lot before today to really have a good remembrance of how loud it was before. But it's not like super quiet or anything in here, so I don't know if I can give a full review on the kill mat, knowing that it worked or didn't work. I guess the way I view it now is just like, it's like when I go work out and, you know, you can't see any results on the scales, but you know that if you worked out 6 times out of the last 2 weeks, like, you know there's still some sort of good health benefit to that. So, while I can't quantify the results right now with this kill mat, I know I made it better. So, anyway, that's about all I have for the moment. But I do want to also point out the reason why I went and did a car wash was to figure out if there was any leaks, and because I suspicioned that before I bought it. And yes, there are some sort of leaks somewhere, but they don't seem to be that bad. Point is, you don't want to leave it out probably in a rainstorm and not crack the windows later, but I don't think it's something that I really have to address before I sell it either. So anyway, we're gonna shut it off and then spin it around when I get back to the garage. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, where do we go from here? So, like I mentioned last night, I did take it out for a spin after I got it all put back together and cleaned up, and hopefully you can see the clean sheen to it now that it's been it's been washed here today. But I uncovered a few more things last night. So actually, this thing always idled really high, so I went to try to back off the idle set screw. In the process, first off, I backed it off way too far and almost made the thing kill itself. It can barely idle. So I got that I think set pretty well. I think I could tighten it up a little bit more, up the RPM a little bit, but I kind of like where it's at. It cruised really nice today to the car wash and back, and then but as I was popping the hood and trying to shut it, the latch, the sheet metal on the latch is not, it's been I don't know. I need to reinforce it somehow because it's got a bend in it, and it won't quite latch right. I have to fiddle really hard to get the hood to latch, but also blinkers. So the right-hand turn blinker doesn't work, so I need to fix that just for driving it around here, and I'll explain later here in just a bit. Like I said, the biggest priority for me now at this point is going to be getting the fuel gauge to work. I'm thinking it's a sending unit. I could have swore I had seen the fuel gauge move a little bit on its own with when the power was selected, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll diagnose it properly, and we'll get that sorted out. But what I want to do is actually some baseline testing. I want to take this out before I do anything else, and there's this country road a mile north of me that I think I can get away with this. I'm basically just going to set up 2 reference points and do a speed test, just see how I'll time it. Not necessarily, speed's not that important, but time it. Just for a baseline sense of relativity, something I can always go back to. And then after the fuel gauge, this thing, I want to just do a basic tune-up on it. First off, I know the fuel filter is disgusting, so fix that, and then just, you know, pull the spark plugs, check the spark plugs, and do a vacuum test on it, and see what I can figure out, see if make sure it's running best it can before I tear into it. And then we'll go back and we'll do another time test. And then when I put the rear end on, we'll do a time test then. And then when I put the heads on, you get the point, etc., etc. So, I was trying to squeeze that in today on this episode, but it just wasn't the right time or the place to do it. Had some other things going on that prevented me from doing that. But I'll leave you guys. We'll close out this episode. I'll just kind of show you some gratuitous before and after shots of the interior. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoyed those shots, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit the like button below. Obviously, if that's not your thing, I do at least want to hear some comments. If that's not your thing, just subscribe. And barely let me know you're there, but please subscribe. I'm still trying to get that century mark, the 1,000. There we go. But that'll do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.